Everyone, it's your favorite FGC VTuber with an Armored
Okay.
Core video this time.
But it looks like you need to worry about fuel LOL.
So, Legpig was here asking, let me look back what he was specifically asking, because he sees me with the tank legs, right? He was like, what was it? What are the cons of tank legs, right? And the first thing I mentioned was, main one is they're not as mobile as other leg parts, like specifically the regular ones, right? But yeah, they're not as mobile. You can't move. I mean, left to right, you guys can see fairly okay. Not that bad, right? But as you can see, like even going forward, the speed's okay. Like it's not as bad as you think it is. But when I refer to mobility, it's like, say like moving left with like these, like you don't get jet boosters. Like you can't decide to almost like walk, then do a sprint. Like that's what I mean by mobility. Like if you want to use your jets, you will have to go into the air. You have to commit to going into the air. You can't just simply, you know, dash left or right. That's one of the big things I was referring to as far as mobility. But as far as speed, they can be, you can get like the fastest tank legs and they can be on par with like say like an average legs. But even again, if you want speed, you're better off going with regular legs. Now, the thing about them is, he says, oh, I thought weight was a negative, because another con is that they do weight quite a bit, but their biggest pro is that they can carry more weight. He's like, oh, okay, I thought weight was a negative. And like, it is a negative. But the main thing about it is, this is what I'm meaning. So when it can carry more, the thing is you have a certain amount of weight limit. Each leg has different weight limits, you know, but also different weights. They're not quite exactly the same. Like, here's an example. You can have legs that are fairly light, but can carry quite a bit of weight. Ones that do have more weight, yet carry less. And oh, that's weird. And the reason why is there's different balance. Like some might have more armor. Like generally the golden rule is that the more weight it is, the more everything else it has. But most importantly, like, oh, power consumption. But even weight, and again, this is a contributing factor for sure, is that the more weight you do have overall combined, your mech overall speed will be slower. That's exactly what that is, right? So that's why one of the reasons, like tank legs, like even if you get fast tank legs, like you will be able to, let's say, move side to side, whatever, jetpack thing, but getting off the ground will be kind of a bit slower. And as far as fuel's not a thing, but we have that energy. That's the AP. You guys see the bar on the left. It requires a lot more of it. Say if you want to go over a cavern, it's going to require more to get over because you're using more energy just to get off the ground, and more importantly, to maintain it. You can't, you know, launch yourself off, right? But yeah, that's the main thing I want to discuss a bit as far as like legs and weight. And this is universal for all armored cores, by the way. This is specifically about Armored Core 6. But yeah, that's the whole thing about weights, and specifically tank legs. Tank legs aren't bad. They're actually fairly good. The only main reason that you don't see them sometimes as much is because just regular legs look cooler. And you could, if you wanted to, go with like say a mobile tank legs, but I tend to find that the mobile tank legs are bad. There's no real reason because they weigh more than most medium leg, or sometimes maybe about the weight of a medium leg, and its speed is still not on par with the fastest legs, but it carries only a little bit more weight than those. So to me, like that's the only reason I could see someone wanting like legs, like, oh, I'm okay committing to the jumps and everything. I want like to be able to have my big heavy guns. That's the big thing that I mean, is like by carrying more weight, it counts all your weight, because like lightweight legs cannot carry, say, like big cannons on your shoulders, you know? Whereas, oh, I want to be able to have the speed, and then it's, oh, it's got a faster speed rating than, say, some of the heavier legs. And yeah, tank legs do have more mobility in that sense. The main thing I want to get is that, like I said, even if you go for the speed one, their carrying weight might not be as strong. So if you go tank legs, my recommendations go medium or heavy. Like, unless maybe you're just like a specialist, sure. The other, I would say, pro of tank legs is you're a bit lower to the ground. You can be a bit harder to hit. Like, if you're playing regular, like, it's weird. Once you know to adjust to tank legs, they're a lot very easy. Like, say if someone doesn't jump a lot, they're way too easy. Like, I recommend if you want to do tank legs, make sure you really have the energy to be able to jump around. Again, biggest reason why I also don't recommend having light tank legs. You won't be able to carry heavier AP units. And one of the biggest to me, if you don't even have heavy weapons on a tank legs, it's like, what are you even doing? Like, that's the number one biggest reason tank legs are god tier, if you want to use heavy weapons on your shoulders. Because when you use legs, 9 times out of 10, you have to station yourself when you're on the ground, and you sit still to shoot heavy weapons, and that's fat recoil, right? But if you have tank legs, you can do it whatever. You could, in Armored Core 4, by the way, probably in 6 is going to be the same. I don't know about 5. You can go in the air, and while you're in the air, you can use shoulder weapons, no problem. You just have like a fat recoil. You know, so that's one of the other things about tank legs, is they're really great at handling recoil. And that's about everything I can cover as far as heavy tank legs. their pros and cons. Hopefully you guys find this video useful. You know, yeah, that's it. I got nothing more. Just something I felt like covering. You know, I'm gonna talk about it. Might as well have it up on YouTube. Hopefully I can make this short. I hope it's not too long. Forgive me if it's a bit scattered.